In the evening of August 28, Prime Minister Abe announced his resignation at the press conference room of the Prime Minister's residence. The news was reported around the world, and the leaders of other countries made quick comments. In Japan, because the Diet was being closed, the number of news of Prime Minister Abe's was decreasing, but the only one big topic was Abe's medical check at a hospital in the later half of August. It was reasonable for common people in Japan, except for those who opposed the Abe's policy because they worked for 147 days without a rest for measures of the coronavirus. Everyone here knew that the press conference is scheduled to be held since about 2 days ago, but almost all the people here was thinking that he would not resign, except a part of some news that were still unsure. However, in the afternoon of that day, as a leak from the cabinet, it was widely reported that the press conference will be the one for the resignation. As one of the Japanese people, I would like to sincerely thank Prime Minister Abe for long-term hard work for the Japanese people. Now, on this opportunity, I would be happy if I had known a little to foreigners about the politician called Shinzo Abe. I am by no means a supporter of Prime Minister Abe. However, I think that the achievements of politicians who have worked hard for it was revealed that Japanese people had abducted by North Korean agents from the 1970s to 1980s. Because of no diplomatic relations, there was no way to get the victim back to Japan. In 2002, the then Prime Minister, Junichiro Koizumi, visited North Korea to meet Kim Jong-il in order to take the victims back to Japan. At that time the chief cabinet secretary was Shinzo Abe, who went there together. Shinzo Abe, who was furious at the vague attitude of the North Korean side in the morning negotiations, although he was sure that a bugging device was set up during the lunch break. And if the vague attitude continued in the afternoon negotiation, he strongly insisted to Prime Minister Koizumi to leave there after kicking the desk. As soon as the afternoon conference started, Kim Jong-il acknowledged the abduction, apologized, and promised to return the victims to Japan. Incidentally, some foods were served from North Korea at that time, but nobody ate it. Instead, they ate onigiri brought from Japan. This affair is showing Abe's stronger style in diplomatic negotiation if something was dishonest. On March 11, 2011, a massive earthquake and tsunami occurred in Japan, mainly in the Tohoku region. It was a massive earthquake that the Japanese people have never experienced for a very long time. At that time, Shinzo Abe's political party, the Liberal Democratic Party, is an opposition party, and Abe found out he can't do anything directly as a member of the Diet. However, he consulted with colleagues on what he could do, received support from his supporters, visited the disaster area directly, and provided meals, women's sanitary products, baby diapers, etc. to the victims. For about 3.5 years from 2009, Japan had been governed by the Democratic Party. During this time, the economic situation, which had been declining, went more worsened. Diplomacy repeated failure, domestic affairs did not improve anything, and recovery of the disaster didn't turn better. This age is called the 3 years of nightmares. People here were thinking, no doubt, that no one would be voting to the Democratic Party at next election. At that time, while the Democratic Party continues, Shinzo Abe was selected in the Liberal Democratic Party presidential election. The stock price surged from the day after the election, and the economic measures, Abenomics, issued after assuming the post of Prime Minister were announced, and the economy will continue to rise. As a result, the stock price which was in the upper 7,000 yen range before assuming the office of Prime Minister Abe, has now tripled to about 22,000 yen. Employment has increased, and currently Japan is experiencing a labor shortage. Diplomacy during the Democratic Party continued to fail, and the relationship of trust with foreign countries was severely deteriorated. In particular, the first Prime Minister Hatoyama was ridiculed as loopy in the United States, and his credit for Japan was the worst. It was Shinzo Abe who appeared there. He gave a speech at the U.S. Congress in 2015 to improve relationship with the U.S., had many standing ovations, and the Senate Chairman John Andrew Boehner was in tears. In 2016, he gave flowers in Pearl Harbor, USA, and U.S. President Barack Obama visited in Hiroshima. Furthermore, in 2017, he made great achievements in improving and strengthening Japan-U.S. relations, such as offering flowers at the Arlington National Cemetery in the United States. Probably all people in the world know that Prime Minister Abe and President Trump are friends playing golf together. Similar to the United States, relations with China were being worse when Prime Minister Abe assumed office. Abe visited China, focused on improving that part, and the relationship improved. Abe's signature and memo written at the time of the visit were a big topic among Chinese people. Abe's achievements in Asian diplomacy are not limited to China. Shinzo Abe has reconstructed TTP that the U.S. has cancelled, and its relations with Thailand, the Philippines, and Taiwan have been particularly strengthened. Furthermore, it may be considered that he has increased Japan's presence in the world by changing his position at the G7 and being asked to participate in the Five Eyes. Many of you guys are familiar with Abe Mario at the 2016 Rio Olympics closing ceremony. The Tokyo Olympics have been postponed due to the influence of the coronavirus. But I think there has been no doubt that Abe Mario became a big publicity of the Tokyo Olympics for the whole world. There is no doubt that Prime Minister Abe was a familiar prime minister for many Japanese. I think you can feel the situation from this scene. Of course, there is no announcement and restriction for ordinary people. He suddenly appears in a park where cherry blossoms are blooming without enough security polices, and is willing to take photos with him. This is a special version of TV program that discusses politics and social issues through the unique Japanese way of enjoying hot springs. This was a plan to discuss various things with Prime Minister Abe while enjoying meals, drinking sake after enjoyed hot springs and naked. You can see his response against what he was inquired and his opinion.
決めちゃうんだ。私はね、あの人がね、全く話してみるとどっちかがなかった人だしね、それから総理大臣になればね、その日米同盟について軍事的な意味は全くないなんて言ってね、大変な日米外交関係を危機に陥れるようなことを平気で言った、平気じゃないんだけど、無知だから言ったんだけども、言う人だったけどね、総務会長としてはね、やり方っていうのはね、私は自民党的にはそうだけどね、すごいもんだと思ったし、忍耐あるね。忍耐あるね。政治気をつけるのはね、必要な時にはね、森先生なんかそれありますよ。
Thank you very much for watching. Next video coming soon. See you.